Well, hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this latest video in the NetBeans 101 series, focusing on the options dialog. In this video, we're going to look at code completion. I have an apology to make. I said in the last video we would look at code completion and code templates in a single video, and what's happened is that video, when I started creating it, got very long indeed. So I've split it into two, and I may even split it into three. We will see how that actually happens when I finish editing everything. So this video, we're just going to look at code completion, what code completion is, and how you can switch various parts on and off in your NetBeans. Right, first of all, this window you can see here is the Windows version of the options dialog for, believe it or not, NetBeans 8.2. Yes, I have a number of versions of NetBeans on my systems, and I'm showing you basically so that you can see that there's very little difference between the different versions of NetBeans. So here we have NetBeans 8.2 using the Windows look and feel, and here we have NetBeans for Linux, and it's NetBeans 10 using the Nimbus. Oops, there we are, the Nimbus look and feel. And so there's very little difference between the two. So I just thought I would show you that. The difference is basically the fact that I'm using Aero in Windows and I'm not in Linux. So we'll just continue with the Linux one because I've actually got some examples open behind, and it makes it a bit easier for me to do things in the examples. Okay, so first of all we have all languages as the code completion, and so this will apply to all languages that have code completion. There are a number of languages: HTML, JSON, Java, JavaScript, PHP, that type of thing. So you've got quite a number of languages there which you can look at and do code completion for, and there's different versions, different things that you can do in each one. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you the basics, and you can experiment with the various different types of code completion. So first of all, we'll just look at the all languages. The auto pop-up completion window, this will automatically pop up a completion window when you start typing in NetBeans. So for example, here we are, although it's not actually needed, we could put in, for example, and see we get a pop-up window, and what I'm actually looking at is the HTML special characters, but as we're just testing to see if this is set or not, it's not required on this particular line. So as you can see, it knows that you typed in HTML. If I actually type in HTML_S, it limits the number of options available, and the more you type in. Let's just delete that for now. Last one. Oops, one too many. We'll look at that. Now, so that's the auto completion window. You might find that this becomes a bit intrusive after a while, so you can just switch it on and off by adding the tick. You can have it on for certain languages and off for other languages, depending on how well you know the language that you're working in. You've then got the auto pop-up of the documentation window, and we actually saw that a moment ago. If I do that again, you'll see here is the auto pop-up of the documentation window, and you can see the documentation about that particular item. You can switch again, you can switch this off here, and if I, oops, I better just delete that because I'll forget. So we can switch that off, click apply, and you can see now we just have the completion window without the documentation. Okay, you can actually have the documentation displayed next to it. You notice it was actually below. If you just have one item that can go in and there's only one item, then you can actually set it to having the proposal to go in automatically. It will just put it in automatically for you. Case sensitive code completion means that it has to follow the case of the command, so that would only show those that were typed in the correct case. You can show depreciated members. Now these are usually shown with a line drawn through them. Insert closing brackets automatically, which is a very good idea because I tend to forget. Usually when I'm programming, I have these two switched off because they do start to get a bit annoying for me. Again, it's your choice as to what you have and what you show. If you know the language well, you may wish to switch those off for that particular language, but leave it on for other languages. So if we have a look at HTML, you'll see that you actually have a different set of attributes that you can have. So you can auto pop up a completion window, that type of thing. If you have an equals sign, it will give you the code. Let me have a look. I'm going to test HTML somewhere. So if we come down, for example, oh, I can't see that. Come on, down we come. Class equals, and you can see I've pressed the equal sign and it's automatically put in the quotes for me there, and I can then do that, and as you can see the auto pop-up end tag auto completion window has come up. If I do that, you can see we have just one choice and pressing enter puts it in. So that's HTML. You've got again other things that you can do with that. You've got JSON, for example, so you've got the choice of JSON. Well, in Java you've got a number of different choices for which you want to do. JavaScript, there's again choices as to when you want to actually have the pop-up window coming. PHP, there's a larger number of items. I must admit that I don't ever change the PHP ones because that tends to work exactly how I like it. But again, it's your choice what you actually have it doing or not doing. And Twig, it's not something that I use. So that's the auto completion. It works very well. I'll show you just one of these very quickly. Auto boom, yes, I've got that all set. We'll click OK, and if we go to test, this is a file I found on the internet, and I've just enclosed it in here. You can see on the side here that we've got some exclamation marks. Some of these we won't change, for example, because all we're doing is checking to see if it's set or not set. But here, it's a good idea if we actually did change this. Now, there's a number of things you can do. If you're doing something which will be, for example, a for loop or something like that, you can highlight this and notice that the little icon has changed to a bulb, and if you actually click on it, you've got a choice of surrounding this with a number of different options. So if I, for example, surround with, you can see it's come up with if true, and then it's put the post first name and so on in here. We'll just take that out again. So you can actually highlight items and surround them with different commands if you wish. I don't wish to surround that with commands, so we will just do HTML special characters and press enter, and we have the HTML special characters, and you'll notice that it's actually highlighted the email subject. And what I'm going to do is just highlight the post, cut it, and Control V, and as you can see, we now no longer have the exclamation mark. So this is a good thing to actually do for PHP, just in case somebody is trying to hack your system. And say this is some code that I borrowed off the internet, and I can't actually remember where I got it from. So it's if it's your code, thank you very much. But it is some which I noticed it was borrowed off the internet, and it would probably be a good idea to wrap the post in an HTML special characters, which will remove things like the greater than and less than signs, for example. Right, so that's the code completion. There are a lot of options. If you press help, you will get some help on this. My normal settings are like that, and that is how I prefer it. Next time we will look at code templates. That's a promise. A much longer video than I expected for code templates. I hope you found this one useful. My name's John. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.